Have you ever pondered over the unseen threats that could overwhelmingly alter our existence? Today, we submerge ourselves into the puzzle called Disease X. X. Feels like a character from a science fiction novel, doesn't it? Nevertheless, it's a concept that we must wrestle with in our present world. It represents the unidentified, the infectious disease that we have yet to unmask, but for which we must stay ready. The World Health Organization classifies it in its blueprint of critical diseases, demonstrating its hypothetical worldwide impact. In 2023, an unauthorized Chinese lab was discovered in the epicenter of California, sheltering more than 20 diverse infectious diseases. Could one of these be Disease X? Could this lab have acted as an incubator for a new, unidentified danger? It's a query that continues to baffle us. But how would Disease X reach us? It's a horrifying thought. But the answer could be as straightforward as a weather balloon sent over by a known enemy. Visualize an apparently innocuous object floating through the sky, ferrying a concealed threat. It's a chance we cannot turn a blind eye to. We're oblivious of where Disease X will originate from or how it will approach us. It might be hiding in a lab or wafting through the sky. However, what we are certain of is that we need to stay ready. We need to be alert, comprehend the risk elements, and adopt measures to safeguard ourselves and our communities. So, while we keep untangling the enigma of Disease X, let's not lose sight of the significance of readiness. It's not about scare, but about cognizance, resilience, and willingness to confront the unknown threats that are surely out there. As we continue unveiling the mystery of Disease X, let's bear in mind the importance of preparation in tackling these unknown threats. From the unknown to the known, let's shift our focus to a current threat, the bird flu. This fearsome disease, also known as avian influenza, is a viral infection that can affect several species of food-producing birds, as well as pet birds and wild birds. Originating from wild birds, the bird flu can easily spread to domestic poultry. Now, if you thought bats, with all their disease-causing fame, were the only ones we needed to keep an eye on, well, it seems now it's the birds' turn to ruffle our feathers. Most alarmingly, the virus can cross species barriers and infect humans. Symptoms in birds may vary, but they often include respiratory signs such as coughing and sneezing, as well as a drop in egg production. In severe cases, it can lead to sudden death. In humans, the symptoms are similar to those of other types of flu: fever, cough, sore throat, and muscle aches. However, in some cases, the infection can lead to severe respiratory diseases and can be fatal. If bats taught us social distancing, it seems like birds are reminding us of the importance of personal hygiene. This is what makes the bird flu a potential threat to humanity. Now, you might wonder, how does this virus cross over from birds to humans? Usually it happens through direct contact with infected poultry or surfaces contaminated with their droppings. It's rare but possible for person-to-person transmission to occur. So, how can we protect ourselves? First and foremost, it's essential to practice good hygiene, especially if you're in contact with birds. Wash your hands thoroughly and avoid touching your face. Cook poultry and eggs thoroughly before eating, as heat kills the virus, and of course stay informed. Keep up to date with the latest information from reliable sources. It's clear that the bird flu is a looming threat, but with vigilance and precaution we can keep ourselves safe. From the real to the seemingly unreal, let's delve into a different kind of disease, Disease Z, the so-called zombie virus. Now, before you start barricading your doors, let's demystify the zombie myth. The idea of the living dead, or zombies, has roots in Haitian voodoo culture, where it is believed that a dead person can be revived by a bokor, or sorcerer. These zombies are said to remain under the control of the bokor as their personal slaves. But rest assured, these cultural zombies pose no threat to those who do not engage in or provoke practitioners of voodoo. On a lighter note, it seems that zombies aren't just for Halloween anymore. But let's transition from the mystical to the medical. There are indeed real-world diseases that could, in theory, cause zombie-like symptoms. Imagine a virus that could manipulate our brain, control our actions, or dramatically alter our behavior. While it sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, the natural world isn't devoid of parasites and pathogens that can take over their hosts in disturbing ways. Take the Ophiocordyceps fungus, for example. It can infect ants, take over their brains, and force them to climb to a high point. Once there, the fungus kills the ant and releases its spores, ready to infect more ants. Now, this might not turn humans into zombies, But it's a chilling demonstration of nature's capacity for manipulation. Or consider Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that can infect rodents and alter their behavior. Rats infected with this parasite lose their fear of cats and are even attracted to the smell of cat urine, making them easy prey. This behavior change benefits the parasite, which needs to get into a cat's digestive system to reproduce. While it's unlikely that these parasites could jump to humans and turn us into zombies, they do remind us of their incredible and terrifying power. While zombies may seem like the stuff of fiction, some real-world diseases can cause alarmingly similar symptoms. So let's remain vigilant, informed, and always prepared to face the unexpected. Let's look at a disease we're all familiar with, but may not fully understand: rabies. This viral primarily affects the nervous system of mammals, including humans, causing inflammation in the brain and ultimately leading to death. In animals, rabies often results in aggressive behavior, a symptom that dogs especially seem to take rather literally. It's almost like they heard rabies and thought, time to become a mad dog. That's given it a reputation, somewhat in jest, as the real mad dog disease. On a more serious note, this symptom has fueled speculations about a potential zombie apocalypse scenario. So what if rabies were to cause such aggressive zombie-like behavior in humans? Well, it's not as far-fetched as you might think. The virus can induce a range of symptoms in humans, from fever and headache to anxiety, hallucinations, and hyperactivity. In its advanced stages, it can cause delirium and aggressive behavior, mirroring the symptoms we associate with the fictional zombies. But before we jump to conclusions, it's worth noting that such severe symptoms are rare, and rabies in humans is preventable. It's crucial to seek immediate medical attention after any potential exposure to the virus, such as a bite or scratch from an infected animal. A series of vaccinations can prevent the virus from progressing if administered promptly. If left untreated, however, the prognosis is grim. Once symptoms appear, the disease is almost always fatal. This underscores the importance of awareness and prompt medical attention when it comes to rabies exposure. But what about treatment? Currently, there's no effective treatment for rabies once symptoms appear. The focus is on preventive measures, such as vaccination for those at high risk of exposure and post-exposure prophylaxis for those who have been bitten or scratched a potentially infected animal. Rabies may be a well-known disease, but its potential for causing severe symptoms is something we should be aware of. The reality of rabies is a stark reminder of the importance of disease prevention and the potential consequences when prevention fails. From one animal disease to another, let's chew the cud on mad cow disease. Officially known as bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or BSE, this neurological disorder has long haunted the bovine world. In cows, it prompts a slew of symptoms from eccentric behavior to shaky movements, ending in a one-way ticket to the great pasture in the sky. But what happens when it decides to hop over the fence to humans? We know it as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, a rare and fatal party pooper that targets the brain. Symptoms kick off with memory issues, behavioral changes, and visual hiccups. As the disease picks up steam, mental deterioration shifts into high gear. Patients may experience involuntary movements, blindness, weakness, and even a coma. It's a terrifying prospect that hopefully will stay on its side of the pasture. Now, before panic gets its foot in the door, let's chat about avoidance. The A1 route for humans to catch this disease is by having a beefy dinner from infected animals. So there you have it, folks. The real reason why some of us are steadfast chicken enthusiasts. As for currently, there is no miracle cure for Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Medical interventions revolve around easing symptoms and making the patient cozier than a cow in a barn. And the life expectancy, well, it's more like a rapidly setting sun, I'm afraid. Most who catch this disease wave goodbye within a year of the symptoms' kickoff. Mad cow disease is like that annoying automated call reminder, underlining the potential risks of animal diseases deciding to go on a human vacation. It drives home the importance of vigilance, not only in our mingling with animals, but also in the buffet of life we consume. Continuing our exploration of zoonotic diseases, let's turn our attention to the zombie deer disease. Also known as chronic wasting disease, or CWD, this condition affects deer, elk, and moose, causing a range of neurodegenerative symptoms that can eerily mirror those of a zombie. The animals become thin, exhibit changes in behavior, and lose control of their bodily functions. Now, let's consider the potential implications for humans. While there are no known cases of CWD jumping species to infect humans, the disease is caused by prions, misfolded proteins that can cause diseases in both animals and humans. Prions are responsible for conditions like Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease or mad cow disease, which has been transmitted to humans in the past. So the question is not entirely far-fetched. Could zombie deer disease do the same? If it did, the consequences could be severe. Prion diseases are degenerative, affecting the brain and nervous system. They are also invariably fatal. Symptoms would likely include rapid weight loss, changes in behavior, and loss of bodily control, hence the zombie moniker. Prevention in this case is key. Avoiding contact with infected animals is the first step. For hunters, this means being vigilant about the health of animals they hunt and using caution when handling and processing game. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also recommend not consuming meat from animals known to be infected with CWD. As for treatment, prion diseases are currently untreatable and always fatal. This underscores the importance of continued research into these diseases and the necessity of preparedness in the face of potential zoonotic threats. Zombie deer disease is another example of how animal diseases can pose a potential risk to human health. After all, who knew that after birds, deer would be the next dear threat, no pun intended, to humanity? It seems like our friendly forest friends are not as innocent as they seem. Now let's shift gears and discuss how certain substances can lead to zombie-like behavior. In the world of narcotics, there are some truly terrifying substances out there. Bath salts and flakka, for instance, can induce a state of extreme agitation, paranoia, hallucinations, and even violent behavior. This cocktail of symptoms can lead to actions that eerily mimic those of a zombie. To illustrate, let's flash back to the year 2012 in Miami. A man named Rudy Eugene exhibited such aggressive, zombie-like behavior that it made national headlines as the Miami Zombie Incident. Eugene, under the influence of unknown substances, brutally attacked a homeless man named Ronald Poppo in broad daylight. The horrific nature of the attack led many to speculate that Eugene was under the influence of bath salts or similar drugs, although subsequent toxicology reports only found traces of THC in his system. This brings us to another point. While THC is widely considered a relatively mild drug, it's essential to remember that it can have significant mental health implications. For some individuals, prolonged use can lead to an increased risk of anxiety, depression, and psychotic symptoms, including hallucinations and delusions. In rare cases, these symptoms could lead to erratic, potentially violent behavior. So while the idea of a zombie apocalypse may seem far-fetched, the potential for drugs to induce zombie-like behavior is a very real concern. So remember folks, the real zombie apocalypse might not be on your TV but at a party gone wrong. It's a stark reminder of the importance of treating drug addiction and mental health issues with the seriousness they deserve. While drugs may not cause actual zombification, their effects can be just as terrifying. Finally, let's tackle a peculiar trend among society's elite: the construction of massive bunkers. Over the past few years, there's been a notable surge in the building of these fortified shelters. Once a symbol of Cold War-era fear, bunkers are now being rebranded as a luxury, a safe haven for the loaded in case of a societal breakdown or a global disaster. These aren't your typical backyard bomb shelters from the 1950s. Today's elite bunkers are more like subterranean palaces decked out with all the trappings of luxury. We're talking swimming pools, movie theaters, sustainable food sources, and even advanced medical facilities. They're designed to keep life going for long periods, cut off from the outside world. But why? What's driving the wealthy to pour vast amounts of money into these underground fortresses? Are they just pursuing an unusual hobby, or is there a more alarming reason behind this bunker boom? Some theorize it's a safety net against global uncertainties, from pandemics to political unrest, climate change to nuclear threats. With how unstable our world appears, it's not too far-fetched to believe that those with resources might want a secure escape route for themselves and their loved ones. But here's the million-dollar question: is there some secret the elites are privy to that we aren't? Is there a hidden threat we're unaware of, or is it simply a case of the rich being a tad too cautious? While we might not have all the answers, one thing is clear: the bunker boom among the rich is a trend that we need to watch. And I have to add, If this is how the rich prepare for the apocalypse, sign me up. Who knew the end of the world could be so plush? As we conclude our exploration of Disease X and Disease Z, let's revisit the key points we've discussed. We've delved into the unknown world of Disease X, a potential threat that could stem from a myriad of sources, from illicit labs to weather balloons. We've also discussed the ongoing bird flu situation, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and preparation. Turning our attention to Disease Z, we've explored the world of zombies, both in the realm of the supernatural and the scientific. We've discussed how certain practices can lead to zombie-like states, and also how certain diseases such as rabies, mad cow disease, and wasted deer disease can mimic zombie-like symptoms in humans if they were to cross over. We've also examined the role of drugs like bath salts and flakka, which can induce zombie-like behaviors, and the devastating effects of certain mental health issues. We've recalled the chilling Miami zombie incident, pondering whether it was due to the use of THC or something more sinister. Finally, we've questioned the sudden surge in bunker construction among society's elite, prompting us to ask why and what do they know that we don't? This question, along with many others, remains unanswered, reminding us of the importance of staying informed and prepared. In this ever-changing world, it's crucial to stay vigilant and be prepared for all potential disease threats. And hey, remember, staying informed and prepared is not just good for everyday life, but it's also the best zombie apocalypse survival strategy. So if you want to avoid the fate of being zombies dinner, stay up to date with current happenings. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay safe. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts and findings. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for watching.